I recently had the opportunity to spend time with a bunch of carnivore experts at Meatstock 2025, and I took that opportunity to ask them an important question. What is your top advice for a new carnivore? And in today's video, you're going to get answers from 36 different carnivore experts. Let's dive right in.
My top piece of advice for a new carnivore: eat happily until you are comfortably stuffed, because you're already giving up so many things that you think you need usually when you start out, that if you're going to also try to cut back on what you think is too much, or you're afraid of how much fat it is, or any of these kinds of things we're told, it makes it so much harder. You can learn all of that and experiment with all of that as you go. So start out, eat like you mean it, eat until you're comfortably stuffed, enjoy the fat, enjoy the meat, enjoy being a carnivore at the beginning, because it's fantastic. So eat until you are stuffed.
I would say basically progress over perfection. Just keep showing up every day. If you get off, get right back on. Don't beat yourself up. And join a community as soon as possible. It is so hard to do this when you're doing it on your own. Even if it's just someone in your neck of the woods that you're friends with that also wants to join in, or join an online community. There are so many great ones out there, but you need to have a support system. You cannot do it on your own.
Get to know another carnivore that already has experience, so that you have someone that'll help teach you while you're the student.
If you're coming from the standard American diet, ease into it. If you've been doing keto, jump right into it. You may never have any problems, but sometimes you have to adjust the amounts of fat and protein that you use. You'll find out. It's good to do your research. Multiple people who talk about carnivore, they always have a different take on it, let's say, and it's good to listen to everyone.
It all depends on where you're coming from, but I'm going to say you really need to surround yourself with like-minded people. Get yourself in a group, make it so that you have support, accountability, because this is a very difficult road to go, and mainly because you have to be very comfortable with being different. So I'm going to say that's probably my top advice, is get comfortable with being different, because this is very different.
Top advice for a new carnivore: get your electrolytes. It'll help with the crash, and you need them anyway, but when you remove all those processed foods, you're removing salt, and salt's good, not table salt, but good quality sea salt. So yeah, electrolytes.
What works for you is what works for you. It's not a one size fits all. Don't be too hard on yourself if it gets hard sometimes, because it's not always easy. Unlike a dog, I could eat the same thing, but if you're looking for like really tasty food, I have thousands of free recipes for you, so check that out.
Eat the meat, stay satiated, clean out your cabinets, get rid of the carb foods, the bad foods, the sugars, the carbs. Eat the meat.
I would say my top advice for a new carnivore is not to worry too much about the details. You're not going to learn everything all in the first week or month. Eat meat until you're full, and don't eat again until you're hungry, and just don't worry about the details yet.
My top advice for a new carnivore is to don't undereat. Enjoy the food. Don't count calories. Count how many meals you enjoy. Have fun. Have variety. Don't stress about it too much.
Just wanted to pop in here to talk about one of my pieces of top advice for new carnivores, and that is to make sure you're getting enough electrolytes. You don't know how many people I talk to on the channel, just on Instagram, wherever, where they're like, oh, I feel like crap. I've been on carnivore for a week, and I ask, have you done electrolytes? And they're like, what are electrolytes? You absolutely need to drink electrolytes in the beginning of carnivore, and the brand that I use is Element. Element is an electrolyte brand that has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. I'm typically recommending the raw unflavored packets because it's just the minerals, but if you want to have something with a little bit of flavor, they just released a limited edition flavor. This is the lemonade salt, just in time for summer. It's absolutely delicious. I've been slightly obsessed with it. 1 gram of carb per packet, and what I like to do is take 1 packet in 16 to 24 ounces of water and drink that first thing in the morning before any kind of keto flu symptoms get started. Right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. So you can head to the link in the description. It's drinkelement.com/Jenny Mitich. That's DRINKLMNT.com/Jenny Mitich, and get your free sample pack with any order today.
New carnivores, it all depends on your body specifically. What I want to know is how carnivore can you get without feeling like you're restricted? That's the first step that I want to say. Do you need to just up your meat? And what you do is you could, if you could, up your meat shorten your portions of the carbs and sugars. And then the following days, maybe after 3 days, go ahead and up it some more on the meats, lessen more vegetables. And within a week, if you do it right, and it depends on your stress level, you start getting stressed like, oh my God, I have to have this. Okay, then that you went too far. So what you do is you slowly adjust into a carnivore lifestyle. So you're becoming aware of the portions, making sure the meat gets bigger and the veggies or whatever you like gets smaller. And when you get to full carnivore, you can do that for a certain amount of days. For example, hey, can I do that for 3 days full? If you do that for 3 days full, then you can allow like 1 day of carbs. And then you go 4 days, then 5 days. And then eventually, if you feel like you just got it, you got nothing to freak out about, go full on. So that's the easiest, slowest way, but easiest. Now, if you're an all or nothing person, that's a whole different talk.
First of all, honor yourself, because it's a hard path, making any changes to your diet. But second is get some good sleep. And here's why. When we don't have good sleep, we make poor decisions. Whenever we're going down a new path, you gotta have your facilities, because the first 4 or 5 days can be challenging. So once you get good sleep at first, so that way you can really commit to that desired outcome that you're seeking.
Rip the Band-Aid off. Rip it off, do it quick, and survive through the consequences. Like, I had to rip the Band-Aid off, and that was the only way I could do it. I'm not a person who can moderate. Like, if I eat one piece of popcorn, I'm eating 10 buckets. If you rip the Band-Aid off and just deal with it for a couple days, you're gonna stop all the cravings, and you're gonna be on your path to health.
I think they really need to trust the process. Carnivore is really simple, and then people often don't find it easy. It actually really is a simple process, and they need to trust the process. They need to also give it a good try, because there's so much that comes up at the beginning that can often be challenging, especially if they haven't come from a paleo or a keto. It's challenging coming from a standard diet straight onto carnivore. So they really just need to trust the process and listen to their bodies. It can also feel really overwhelming and sometimes a little bit weird, because it's so different to what they've ever known. And again, you need to trust the process and give it a really good shot.
My top tip for a new carnivore is find a community to do it with. Go out there. If you don't have people locally, get online, find other people that are doing it, because it's lonely if you're trying to do this by yourself.
My top advice for a new carnivore would be to transition slowly. There are many, many people in the world that are plant-based, and within those plants are anti-nutrients. And if you go cold turkey and switch too fast, you're going to feel worse before you feel better. The way that I instruct my clients is to go slowly. Drop one food at a time and then replace that with an animal food. And slowly over the course of days and weeks, as you transition those foods, you will not have any kind of detox effect and feel very, very ill. You will slowly eliminate those foods that you want to eliminate, replacing all of them with animal source foods, and you won't go through the detox that many, many people suffer for weeks.
My best advice is be patient, be compassionate for yourself, and because you have to remember, you didn't get to where you are in this current moment overnight. So it's going to take time to heal. If you are not getting the results that you want, do not think that you have to go and carnivore harder. You need to look deeper and really connect to the root cause of why you're even going into the carnivore diet in the first place. And that can be emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Top advice for new carnivores is to stick with it. The first 2 to 4 weeks can be really rough as your body transitions, but there is a light at the end of that tunnel, I promise. And healing can sometimes take a long time to start, so I wouldn't be discouraged by the initial changes. Stick to it, find support in online communities, and just know that you can do it.
The top advice is to start as clean carnivore as you can, so keep it very simple. For me, that was bacon, eggs, and 80-20 ground beef, and then ribeyes. But then I would also lean into getting outside, doing the things, getting in the sunlight, spending time with family and friends, and the main goal is to achieve metabolic health. So narrowing in your life to get as close to metabolically healthy as you can. And that's going to be unique to each person. But starting with that foundation, I think, is a great starting point, and then you can add or subtract from there.
Don't look at it like this is for the rest of my life and I'll never be able to have what I love again. Get through breakfast today, and then get through lunch today, and then get through dinner today, and at the end of the day, you'll be able to look back and say, I made it. And then tomorrow do the same thing. At the end of the week, you'll have 7 days under your belt, and before you know it, it'll be 30. And then you'll know that this is something that you need to do.
My top advice is to give it time. You may not feel your best in the very beginning, but you're going to feel amazing probably after 30 days. And some people, maybe it takes longer, but you got to get through the bad symptoms of, like, if you have a bowel change. But truly, once you get on the other side, it's like euphoria for a very long time. And you're wondering, why isn't everybody doing this?
I feel like with new carnivores, you really need to know your why. You really need to know the reason why you are doing carnivore, because that's the thing that's going to motivate you when temptation comes your way, is remembering why you're doing it. And get really deep with it too, so don't just be like, I want to lose weight. Ask yourself why. Why do you want to lose weight? Is it so you can pick up your grandkids? Is it so you can age gracefully? Is it so you can look good naked? All of those things are valid reasons, but really get into the core truth of why you're doing it. And then when you see that temptation come your way, it's so easy to say no, because it's not worth that why.
Adding meat, more meat into your diet is great. You're obviously removing other foods. Be careful with what you're cooking with, or whatever the food being served to you is cooked with. Understand that toxins can come in preparation, like seed oils for one. So I think it's very important personally to remove seed oils from your diet. So you're removing processed food, and seed oils are a major component of processed food. But if you were to take any other element of processed food, would you want those rubbed into your meat, or your meat cooked in those other elements of processed food? Of course not. That's a major component of processed food. So be very careful about making sure your meat is not prepared, cooked in seed oils.
I hope you have some meat that you really like. I just met a brand new carnivore who said that she doesn't like meat. And I said, like, no meat? And she said, I really just don't like steak or burger patties. And I asked her, do you like eggs? She's like, not really. I said, not even an omelet? She goes, oh no, I love an omelet. Great. I said, is there any meat that would be okay in your omelet? She said, like, bacon and a little cheese, would that work? Yes. So what I see people trying to do often is try to emulate, you know, a Dr. Baker online, or somebody they see like Crazy Cakes here, who ate only burger patties for 10 years. And she literally said, I don't think I could do that. I'm like, why would you do that? And then also, don't get too attached to whatever you're doing at the moment, because steak will probably taste amazing in a year once you get past the hurdle of cutting out carbs. She just feels like many people, I don't think I can eat burger patties forever. And I would say, then don't commit to that. Find something you love, eat it, enjoy it.
Be patient. You may, during the first few days or even a week, be feeling just not right, feeling a little bit sluggish and off, but be patient. Give yourself, I'd say, at least 2 weeks. It took me about 10 days when I went abruptly carnivore to get through just some of the mind and body feelings of that, and then I woke up clear.
I would say to find a food that you really, really love. Stick to that for a little while, because some of those things you're going to have to develop new tastes for some interesting new meats. So find those things that are fallbacks that you really love.
Definitely always be prepared. That is the advice that I give to people all the time, because when you're not prepared, when you don't have real food ready in your refrigerator to grab when you're hungry, you get caught off guard, you start making poor decisions. And real food is not going to be like a package of mozzarella sticks, like a package of string cheese isn't going to cut it. So what I recommend people do is have burger patties cooked and in their fridge, or have some steaks just left over that you maybe cooked some extra the night before, and now you've got cold steak at the ready for when you're hungry, when lunch comes up, or if you're, you missed breakfast and you've got to grab something, you've got actual meat in the fridge to grab.
I think I have to share my 3-day rule. So my 3-day rule, when you're just starting out and you're trying to be perfect, or say you go on vacation, you have a holiday with family, and you fall off track a little bit. My 3-day rule is that you have 3 days that I want you to do everything basically perfect. Get back on track with your eating plan. Don't eat what's in your fridge. Go buy yourself a steak. Go buy yourself your favorite meal, your favorite burger patties from a restaurant, whatever it is that's going to be exciting to you, because you're reminding your brain that you're not punishing yourself. You're eating the best possible diet and food that you actually look forward to. And why it takes 3 days is because by day 3, inflammation, water, it's going to fall off. You're going to feel amazing. You're going to be sleeping better. You're going to build that confidence that you can do difficult things, changes your brain chemistry, and by day 3, you're back carnivore. You're feeling amazing. You can just keep going.
I would say definitely eat enough fat. The first time I tried to go carnivore, I did not pay attention to the fat and I did not have enough energy, and it was really, really tough. And I was also hungry, so make sure you're getting the fat.
Don't fast too much and really prioritize the fats and the sodium.
I look at him because he's usually got the answer for this. The answer is usually take before pictures and measurements.
I agree with that.
This is usually your answer.
That's true, but I think that when, because we have a channel, we want to show befores and afters, and we've got to go find through the photo album these very bad before pictures that are in some other context, and so I have to edit people out, and it's just not a very good comparison. But having those befores and afters really does show progress that's pretty subtle, especially over the course of, you're going to do it for at least 90 days, which is my recommendation for #1 advice for cooking.
And I always like to say keep it simple when you start. Don't get fancy looking for all the recipes and things. Just find the meats you like. It doesn't have to be perfect grass-fed ribeyes or anything. Find the meats you like, the eggs you like, and just do that. Start simple.
I agree.
You're going to need to eat more than you're used to eating when it comes to meat and fat and butter. So you're going to take your time and encourage yourself to try to do that. And I like to see different kinds of protein on the plate so it's easier to eat more. Some shrimp, some beef. Mix it up so you got different flavors and textures, and it's just becomes so delicious to eat a full-size meal.
Top advice for a new carnivore: stick with it. Give it 30 days at the minimum. I would even say 90 days. Something magical happens at the 3-month mark, and keep it simple if that's what you enjoy. Eat lots of fatty meat, or if you need a little variation, make a creative recipe. Do something to keep this fun and sustainable for you, and however that looks, just make it last.
My top advice is really to take as much information as possible. So really try to listen to a wide array of speakers and don't have a singular focus. If you have a health issue, you might need to take a bunch of different pieces of the puzzle from a bunch of different speakers. Because there's a lot of, healing is very multivariant. So there might be a lot of different paths to healing. It could be mind work, maybe if you're dealing with too much stress. You might need to really look into what the right macros are for you, fat to protein. Some people require a lot more fat, sometimes people require a lot more protein. You might need to ease into it. So really find all the good books out there from the experts. Listen to a lot of YouTube podcasts. There's a lot of great podcasts out there like Jenny Mitich, and really just take different pieces of the puzzle from different experts.
I'd say for a new carnivore, understand why it is you're coming to the carnivore diet. Are you here to lose weight, which is what most folks start with, but make your list of your most important goals that you're trying to reach right in the beginning, and make sure you're tracking those. Because if you're trying to cure disease, if you're trying to make any other maladies go away, know that in the beginning, be tracking it, and that way you'll know when you reach your goals.
My top advice is to eat whatever carnivore foods you want. So don't forget about the seafood, the chicken wings, the dairy, and I know a lot of people say dairy is not good on a carnivore diet. It's actually really good if you are a new carnivore. I want you to enjoy those dairy foods. If you're worried that dairy will inflame you, go to realmilk.com and find raw, unpasteurized dairy farms near you. It's actually pretty easy to find if you're in the States. If you're international, what I recommend is going into carnivore communities, big ones. I have one, the Steak and Butter Gang. Come in, ask, hey, anyone in England, anyone in Australia who knows where to get raw dairy? There's always a way to enjoy raw dairy.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like or hit that subscribe button. They're both free and easy ways you can support this channel. I'd also like to mention that my book, Complete Carnivore, is available for pre-order. This book is a complete in-depth guide to the carnivore diet along with 80+ carnivore recipes. There's something for every carnivore, whether you're a newbie or a seasoned vet. Pre-orders are super important for new authors, and I'm trying to get this book onto every bookstore shelf in America on release day. Pre-orders are the best way that we can make that happen. If you'd like to take your support a bit further, pre-ordering this book is the best way you can do it. Thanks again to all of my carnivore experts. Meatstock 2025 was amazing. And you know, if you want to be in a room with these carnivore experts, you need to be at Meatstock 2026. I'll put a link to it in the description. You can use code Jenny to get $50 off your conference ticket. With that, I'll see you in the next video.